Hi guys, Laura here from Laura's Crafty Life. Today I'm going to show you how to use an SVG file in Cricut Design Space. The SVG file I'm using is this Mother's Day set from CarinaGardner.com. It includes 2 cards, some tags, and a gift box. You can also find SVG files sometimes for free from different designers as well. So to get started, we're going to click on Cricut Design Space and open that up. You're going to click File and then New to open up a new project. And then click on Upload Images. Here you can see that you can upload several different types of images like JPEGs or PNGs, but today we're going to be working with SVG files. So we're going to click Upload Image and Browse. And now you're going to find where the SVG files are on your computer. Mine automatically download into my Downloads folder, but if I know that I'm going to be working on a project, I create a folder on my desktop and put all of the files in there so I can easily find them. So for the first project, we're going to work on using these Mother's Day gift card tags. So you click on it, and you can see here that it says SVG document. This is the type of file you want, and then you're going to click Open. This will open the image in Cricut Design Space. Now you have the option to change the image name as well as add tags. I'm not too worried about what the image name is. This automatically pulls up from what the file is named on your computer. If you want to change that, you can, but I do recommend adding tags so that when you go to search for it later, you can find them. So I'm just going to add Mother's Day and tag because this is a Mother's Day tag, and then click Save. This will upload this particular image set into Cricut Design Space. Okay, so now you have your image uploaded. So you're going to click on it and it'll make a little check mark and you're going to click Insert Image. Now see, for some reason, I think because I clicked Save twice, it uploaded the same image twice. If you want to delete an uploaded image that you've uploaded, simply click on Uploaded and then just click the little delete. It'll say, are you sure? Click yes, and that one's all gone. So we're going to be working with this tag. So click on the tag and click Insert Image. Now you'll see it inserts this whole tag with all of the bits and pieces already color coded to how Carina designed this particular tag. So in order to work with any of the individual elements, the first thing we have to do is click Ungroup, and this will ungroup your image. But before you do that, if you want to change the size of the tag, this is the time to do it, and there's a couple different ways to do that. Right now it looks like the folded tag will be about 3 inches. If I wanted to make it bigger, you can simply drag this until you get it to be the right size, up or down. So you can make it bigger or smaller. Or you can go into Edit and then manually change in the height or the width to what you want it to be for your particular project. For projects like this, I like to keep this little lock symbol on because it keeps the proportions the same so that nothing gets distorted when you're changing one or the other. So let's say I wanted the whole tag to be 10 inches, then it will automatically change the width for me. But for right now, we're just going to keep it how it was. So we're going to go back and we're going to ungroup it. And now you can move any of the bits and pieces and change anything about it. From here, you could just click Go, and it will pull up all of the different elements of this particular tag to cut out on the different colored mats. This little dotted line here is a score line, and it doesn't automatically get recognized by Cricut Design Space as a score line, so we have to tell it what to do. So we're going to choose both this tag and then also choose the score line, and we're going to click Attach so that those two things stay together on the cutting mat, and you'll see them here, but it's still showing to cut out this dotted line, which we don't want. We want it to score. So you're going to click Cut, and then you're going to change this from cut to score. You could also change it to write or print if you wanted to do that for a different project, but for this one we just want it to score. So now you can see when you click Go for your project, it now shows that it's going to both cut the tag out and then on the dotted line, use your score pen, which you attach into the extra slot on your Cricut Explore machine. So this project was relatively simple to work with because all of the files were already color coded. Like you have all of these flowers are pink, the background is pink, but sometimes you get an SVG file where everything comes into Cricut Design Space as white, and that's a whole different ball game because you have to change more things about it. This project is pretty much just upload and go. So we're going to very quickly, we're going to save this project. And you're going to see here where it says project cannot be shared. Do you want to save it? It will do this anytime you upload an image to Cricut Design Space. At this time, there's not the capability to share those projects with other people, which honestly is probably a good thing because I just purchased this and it wouldn't be fair to share this project without somebody else purchasing it. So we're just going to save it as Mother's Day tag. We'll click save and you'll see here that you cannot check the public. So I can't share this particular file with anyone. Click save. Now this project is saved and I can come back and cut it out later. So now I'm going to show you how to work with an SVG file that's not already had all the colors chosen for you. So you're going to go to File, and you're going to click New. Oops, let's try that again. File and click New, and that will open up a new window for you with a new canvas. You're going to do the same process as we did the first time. So you're going to go to Upload Images. You're going to click Upload Image. You're going to browse. And this time we're going to do this Mother's Day shadow card. So we're going to click on that. And again, you'll see all the images that make up the shadow card are here in the window. It automatically defaults naming it the same as what it was on my computer, and I'm going to add in a tags of Mother's Day card, flowers, mother. So all of those things are in there. If I search for any of those, it'll pull up this card. So I'm going to click save. It will upload the file into Cricut Design Space, and this is great because once you've uploaded it, then you can use it on your iPad as well if you use the Design Space software on your iPad. So now that it's uploaded, you simply click on it and click Insert Image, and this will pull up the entire file. Again, everything is grouped into one big group. So when you click Go, it would basically print everything out on the same color cardstock, and we don't want that. We want all of the different elements to be different colors. So the first thing we have to do is click Ungroup, and now you're going to start selecting things and making them the colors you want. So I want my card base to be kind of a like craft colored. So I'm going to click on that, and this is close enough. It doesn't have to be exact. It's just to get a good idea of what your project's going to look like when it's all done, and also to tell your Cricut to cut all of the things that are the same color on the same mat. So those are all set. The mother, let's do it in a dark pink. Now the original design had the same color as these craft cardstocks, but I want to do mine a little different and choose a dark green. And then this one I'm going to cut out, I think, a pattern paper, some sort of floral pattern paper, so I'm just going to choose a different color. So now I pretty much have all of the individual elements color coded to what I want my project to look like, except for these flowers and these leaves. And I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can keep these designs together. So the first way would be to select all of the flowers and weld them together. So to do this without finding them on this big long list, you simply click on the item that you're trying to select, and then to click on multiple items, you hold down the Control key as you click on them, and this will group them all together. And if you click weld, what ends up happening is it makes all of these separate 6 flowers into one image. So you'll see that here. So all of them they're all connected, but they're also one image. So I can no longer change each individual piece. So if I choose pink, they're all pink. And then when you click go with a welded image, because it's welded together, it holds them all in the same position on the cutting mat. So we'll cut them out in the particular order that they are on your project mat. I don't necessarily want them to be welded together. I would like to be able to possibly change these. Maybe I'd like some of them to be purple and some of them to be pink. So I am going to undo what I just did. So now all the flowers are separate again. So the next way that you can group them all together to just make them easier to work with is to, again, hold down the control button and select all of the flowers and then group them together. Now this makes it easier to look at in over here where the layers are, and it also makes them, if you want to move them around, they all stay in their group. But the difference here than welding the images together is that you can individually color them. So I could choose one to be purple, one to be pink. Let's say we do another one pink. And now when you click go, they're grouped so that when you move them around the cutting mat, they move together. But on the actual, when you actually cut them out, it will cut them out not how they were placed on the mat, but just in the space saver way. So you'll see there's some here, and then there should be, here's the one little purple one I cut out. So depending on what you want to do with your images, you will decide how you want to group things together. The last way to group them would be to attach them all. So we're going to click on all of them one last time. And attaching is similar to welding in that when you click go, what will happen is on your mat, they'll stay how they are positioned. And sometimes this is important in a design. In this particular design, it doesn't matter if they're all cut out in a certain place on my piece of cardstock because they're individual elements that I'm going to glue on. But for some designs, you may want that. But the great thing about attaching them is once you attach them, you can make them all one color. So that's an easy way to get them all colored the same to have them cut out on your mat. And then simply, if you don't want them attached anymore, just click detach and they'll be separate. And then what will happen is when you go into your cutting mat, it will just put them here in a row. They're not how they are placed on the card, but this is the best way to make the most efficient use out of your cardstock without wasting a lot of blank space. So the other last thing you can do is there is a button called flatten, and I'll show you what that does real quick. This is not something you would want to do for this particular project, but you may want to do it on a future project. If you click flatten, it creates it so that it's a print then cut image. So what it will do is it will print this out on whatever paper you use, sticker paper, cardstock, whatever you put through your printer, and then it will cut this image out in this particular pattern. Obviously we don't want to do that. We want the individual elements how they are. So I'm going to do the same thing here with these leaves. You're going to click on all the leaves. I find it easier to do this on the cutting mat than over in this layers panel because it's just easier to make sure I've selected everything. I'm going to attach them. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to make them all green so that they're ready to be cut out in the same color. And then I'm going to detach them because I don't want them to be cut out on the cutting mat in this particular pattern. So you'll see when I go to my cutting mats, now I've got this dark pink one with the mother, all my little leaves, and then these tan ones, which this is another problem. So it's thinking that this is the best way to print these out. And I know I can fit this other piece right here in this space. So to do that, I'll show you what you can do. You'll take this one, which is the one that's being pushed down, move it up above this other one, and then I am going to select, all right, hold on. Before we do this, let me do one more thing. I'm going to show you how to create a score line. so that it creates a score line on this card that's not there. On the previous tag, that little dotted score line was part of the design. On this one, it's not. So I want a score line so that it's easier for me to fold the card in the right spot. So to do that, click on the card and find out how wide it is. It's 5.49 inches wide, which is from here to here, and you're going to want the score line right in the middle of this card. So we're going to click Insert Shape, Score Line. We're going to change the score line to 5.49 inches. So you'll see it's right down here. I don't want it straight up and down. I would like to be horizontal instead of vertical. So I'm going to change this to 90 degrees, which will flip it on its side. So now I've got to try and figure out, oh geez, where is this going to go so that my score line doesn't end up, scoring this card in the wrong spot. The easiest way to do this is select your score line, select your card, using the control button and clicking on both items. Click Align, center it horizontally, and center it vertically. Now these two pieces are perfectly centered. Your score line is centered up, it's the right width, and then you're going to go to your layers and click Attach. And now these two pieces are attached so that when you go to actually cut out your design, you'll see again, here's the cut and here's the score, and you can see the gray dotted line where it's going to score that card in half for me to make it really easy for me to assemble this card when it's all cut out. Now again, I was showing you when you click go, this is printing out these two, it's cutting out these images on two separate pieces of cardstock, and that's just silly. So we're going to select all three pieces, click Attach, and what that does is it makes these all attached in this particular configuration so that when you go to your cutting mat, you'll now see they're all on one mat, and I'm wasting a lot less paper. I'm not having a second one, and there's just this little bit of paper left over on the bottom. So that's everything you need to do to be able to use an SVG file. Now, obviously, each SVG file is going to be a little bit different, but those are the two basic kinds you're going to encounter, is either one that's already colored in, and that's pretty much just an upload and go project, or one that's all white or one solid color that you need to do a little bit of modification to. I like using SVG files because they're very easy to work with, and they're very easy to upload into Cricut Design Space and be pretty much ready to go. If you use a JPEG or a PNG, you have to do a little more editing on the background on how to edit out some of the background noise and make sure that you're just getting the image. SVG files are really easy to work with. So I'm hoping you found this tutorial helpful, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments.